You're watching TVC Breakfast. The governor of the Central Bank of Nigeria, Godwin Emefiele, still has another 5 years to head the country's apex bank.
Well, let's now take you through some of his achievements in his first term.
Godwin Emefiele has gone through the turbulence in the last 4 years. He mounted his saddle at the time the economy had started weakening. Despite the challenges faced during the 2016 recession, Mr. Emefiele oversaw the recovery growth process of the economy. Nigeria exited recession in the second quarter of 2017, and inflation dropped to 12.5% in April 2018 from a high of 18.72% in January 2016. As of the last quarter 2018, the Nigerian economy grew at 2.38%, with inflation dropping for the third consecutive month to 11.25%. Under Mr. Emefiele, activities of Bureau de Change operators have been brought under control to check the excesses by some of their members, which reportedly led to the continued depreciation of the naira over the years. The stability of exchange rate in recent months appear to have improved foreign reserves despite slowing foreign capital flows into the Nigerian economy. The CBN has also been actively involved in its periodic OMO interventions, through which it mopped up excess liquidity to curtail inflation and boost investors' confidence in Nigeria's fixed income securities such as treasury bills and bonds. The efforts of Emefiele's CBN have not gone unnoticed. He has received several awards at home and abroad.
Joining me now to discuss the task ahead of the CBN governor in the next 5 years is CEO of Finance with Mukhtar Mohammed. It's good to have you join us at this time.
Thank you. Good morning.
First time in 20 years that we're having a CBN governor have a second term. What do you think is ahead of Godwin Emefiele?
The task ahead of him, he knows it's enormous, and he has said it also. He has a lot of work to do, especially in trying to synergize between the monetary policy and the fiscal policy, which is out of his hand, but he has to find a way to synergize that. If you look at his achievement, you say he has done well, but because the challenge has been the policy, the fiscal policies, because when he came into office in 2014, the foreign reserve at that time was about 25 billion, and debt was $9 billion, and 25 billion for foreign reserve. Today, as it stands now, foreign reserve is 45 billion, and debt is 25 billion. So you see, because now the debt is not in his hands to control, it's in the fiscal policy. So he needs to find a way around to see how he can. I mean, one thing he has done very well, which you already pointed out in your report, is the issue of stability in the exchange regime market. And that's why people say, oh, Emefiele is the governor that is the forex exchange stability governor, and that he has brought into play.
Okay, now there have been projections about a looming recession, and even the CBN governor has made mention of something related to that.
Well, you can say people said recession, not directly he was saying. He said if some issues are not tackled, especially in the area of unemployment, that Nigeria may be driven into recession again. He didn't particularly say recession. He's talking about the menace of unemployment.
So do you see us able to manage the issue of unemployment?
Well, unfortunately, it's not in his hands to manage. It's in the hands of the fiscal policy. But that's why the government itself, the Federal Executive Council, the presidency, the president itself. So it's not directly in the hands of Emefiele. All he needs to do is to come up with strategy to see how this can work, and he's trying to do that through the direct intervention in the Texas industry and other, which is not is good, but not really the job of the CBN to do that.
Okay, it's a good way to end it. CEO of Finance with Mukhtar Mohammed. Thanks for joining us.
Always a pleasure being here.
You're watching TVC Breakfast. Now, the governor of the Central Bank of Nigeria, Godwin Emefiele, still has another 5 years to head the country's apex bank.
Let's take you through some of his achievements in his first term.
Godwin Emefiele has gone through the turbulence in the last 4 years. He mounted his saddle at the time the economy had started weakening. Despite the challenges faced during the 2016 recession, Mr. Emefiele oversaw the recovery growth process of the economy. Nigeria exited recession in the second quarter of 2017, and inflation dropped to 12.5% in April 2018 from a high of 18.72% in January 2016. As of the last quarter 2018, the Nigerian economy grew at 2.38%, with inflation dropping for the third consecutive month to 11.25%. Under Mr. Emefiele, activities of Bureau de Change operators have been brought under control to check the excesses by some of the members, which reportedly led to the continued depreciation of the naira over the years. The stability of exchange rate in recent months appear to have improved foreign reserves despite slowing foreign capital flows into the Nigerian economy. The CBN has also been actively involved in its periodic OMO interventions, through which it mopped up excess liquidity to curtail inflation and boost investors' confidence in Nigeria's fixed income securities such as treasury bills and bonds. The efforts of Emefiele's CBN have not gone unnoticed. He has received several awards at home and abroad.
All right, joining me now to discuss the task ahead of the CBN Governor in the next 5 years is the CEO of Finance with Mukhtar Mohammed. It's good to have you join me right now.
Thank you. Good morning.
Great. Now, so many things to talk about when it comes to the task ahead or what the CBN Governor has done so far. But let us even look at just a brief overview of the last 5 years that he has been governor. Now, if you compare him with the past CBN governors who have been there at different, considering critical things in the economy and all of that, how would you justify his reappointment?
Well, you can compare him with the previous CBN governors because of the circumstances in both each of the CBN governors. Let's start when we have Charles Soludo there. The economy was buoyant. Nigeria was the toast of investors. Everybody wanted to come to Nigeria. We're just coming in like a new bride into democracy. Right. Everything, oil price was good. So then came Sanusi Lamido. His own tenure also had some turbulence, which had to do with the global economic crisis, but that affect oil price also. But remember, towards the end of his own tenure, the price of crude and everything, there was stability. He tried to maintain stability in the banking sector. That was the only major challenges that he had. Right. With Emefiele, he came in and just came in there. The price of oil was at the lowest ever in the past before that time. Then you look at the foreign reserve was depleting. Then we went into recession. So when you compare all that, inflation was all-time high. Exchange regime, the naira to the dollar was all-time high. And if you look at all that put together, you say he actually was one of the most busiest of the CBN governors.
All right, good to understand. Now, the point there is we are out of recession, but we're still in that shaky brink where if some things are not taken care of, anything can still happen. Now, some of the open market operation that he has been involved in and trying to put forth and all of that, what impact are they having on the inflation rate and all of that?
Unfortunately, he can only do monetary policy mop up through treasury bill and other means to try to mop out the excess liquidity in the system. But in terms of trying to curb inflation as a whole, he can't do it alone. He has to be in partnership with the fiscal policy, fiscal regime, and that has not been working for the past 4 years. So you can't blame him on him alone. But when you look at how he has been done that, you look at one good thing he has done in the import-export window that he created, that brought relative stability into the forex region, to the exchange region. So that's one marvelous thing that he has done. People tend to say that one thing you cannot take away from Emefiele, he has brought stability into the exchange market, the naira to the dollar.
Going forward now, because beyond that stability, Nigerians are looking forward to naira gaining value. Is that something he can achieve within the next dispensation?
I think he's already trying to do that, but the way he's trying to do is the story. It's another story all about it, because he's trying to do direct intervention, trying to ban importation. I mean, foreign Texas industries cannot get access to forex again. Trying to make sure that agricultural sector, they directly intervene in the agricultural sector, just banning some other things. So he's trying to boost internal generation, trying to help Dangote refinery come on stream so that the pressure on the naira, the dollar to the naira will be low, because then petroleum product will cut. So he's trying to do all those things with direct intervention.
So we wait to see how all of these will play out then. Thank you very much, Mukhtar Mohammed, for coming on the program.
Thank you.
Right. Some of his achievements in his first term. Well, during Godwin Emefiele's first term, a whole lot transpired, from recession to coming out of recession. and talk about lending rates, interest rates, and all of those. Joining me at this time now to talk about the task ahead of the CBN Governor for the next 5 years is the Chief Executive Officer of Finance with Mukhtar Mohammed. It's good to have you join us at this time.
Thank you. Good morning.
All right. Every Nigerian is interested in having the Naira very stable and measuring up to some foreign currency. Do you see that achievable under this next term of the CBN Governor?
Well, it's a long-time vision, not only because what we're going to see is that this current CBN Governor will outlive the current administration even. So we still have him 1 year into another administration. So he has that opportunity. He will be the first CBN Governor that will serve under 3 different regimes, even if he's not going to complete the last one. So for me, if we have our focus right, like what the CBN is trying to do by directly intervening in Texas, in agriculture, it could work out. But what we're saying is that for us to really have that, create that environment,
yes,
not that CBN is overlapping its rule into what the commercial banks should be doing. You need to get the banking, the real commercial banks involved through the intervention that they are doing, because it's only through those intervention through the commercial bank that you can be able to get back some of these loans that CBN will be giving directly to these people, like the Tech 7.
All right, talking about some of these interventions now, there are times that the CBN injects some monies into the foreign exchange markets just to make sure that the value of the Naira is still very stable. And then people ask about the sustainability of such moves.
Yes, it's not, when we have a crisis, like I was saying, the current reserve is about $45 billion, and we have a debt profile of about 25 billion Naira, dollars also. So when you look at that, then you know you have little to caution, and most of this little that is supposed to serve as a shock absorber in case the price of crude comes down are used to maintain the stability of the currency. And also some of these things some of this currency find the answer into the bureau de change so that you can maintain stability. Where no economy, no CBN allow its Naira to free float. But what people are saying that let's have a real exchange rate and then CBN intervene occasionally to make sure there is stability in those exchanges. But what we have now is definitely full CBN intervention, controlled exchange rate, whereby they intervene sometime every week or as high as $250 million to make sure there's stability.
Would you prefer it in the other way? Or
yes,
would you rather have full intervention?
It could be partial intervention, like I said. It doesn't have to be full intervention, because some of this, when you look at $250 million into this, into just a particular, just to maintain stability, and for me, a few elites, it doesn't make so much. It doesn't add up.
All right, then, as the CBN Governor continues this tenure, wish him all the best. Mukhtar Mohammed, it's good to have you join us.
Thank you.